Hey, hey, welcome to Storytime with Ellie podcast. And today I am here with Julie with the Girlfriends Rockin' Life. Welcome, Julie.
Thank
Come
you,
on in.
Ellie.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
I want to thank you for being with us today.
Of course.
Live. It's our first live recording.
Yay!
Yay!
Yay! You never know what you're going to get with live,
I
right?
know, I know. I was like, oh my God. And Phil goes, Ellie, we can't edit anything. I'm like, oh no.
We're live.
We're live. So, you found your way over here okay? You made it in
I
okay?
did. I-4 traffic is always fun, and Labor Day weekend, that always creates challenges with tourists, but it was good.
Yeah, cool, cool. Yeah. I woke up today and I said, oh my God, my hair's a wreck. So I said, I need to, I called up my favorite. They just opened the blow dry bar in Winter Garden and called Rob and said, can you get me in? He opened up and did my hair.
Nice.
How's my hair look, guys?
It's looking good.
Fabulous.
Oh,
I
anyway.
didn't get the memo to get your hair done. And,
But your hair looks great. It was like last minute. I was like, oh, yeah, it's
I
all
think
good.
I don't realize that we were going to be facially recognized. I was thinking
Oh.
like a studio recording, or I would have dressed.
Audio. You mean audio? Just audio?
I did.
Oh,
So
no.
this
You're-
is a surprise.
Yeah, but you're a pro at this. I've seen you.
Oh, no. I don't know about that.
You're good. Okay, so why don't we talk a little bit about your mission, your goal with the Girlfriends Rockin' Life?
Absolutely. So it just started years ago, right about the peak of COVID. And I had gone through a divorce after, being together 23 years marriage, 25 altogether. And a lot of people went through that during COVID. You're with that person. For me, it started a year before. And so COVID hit, and it was difficult because I was leaving a neighborhood I had been in with friends and family for, 15 years and starting over. And with COVID, you couldn't be around people. And I happen to work in healthcare as well. So,
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're on the front line.
Right. And so that extra layer of, oh, we can't be around Julie was kind of heightened even more. You had a whole routine. You had to make sure you took off your scrubs and everything before you walk in your house. And no one really knew in the beginning of COVID. So going through a divorce and separation at that time, and then being distant from your friends, I called on my closest girlfriends, and we would go walking. That was safe. And so over time, I had posted on Facebook kind of where things were at with our family, that things are different, and we're just going our separate ways, and everything's good, for the kids and what have you. And the amount of women that had reached out to me in private messages just stating, hey, I'm going through the same thing, and
Nice.
I
A lot
feel
nice, but-
alone. Can you meet for coffee or what have you? And I had 20 messages in one day, and I knew there was not, 20 days in a week to get together.
Yeah.
So I called upon the neighborhood I moved in. It was like Wisteria Lane. We had single ladies all around me in the same situation. It just happened to work out that way. So I thought if there was one spot we could meet, but again with COVID, you couldn't meet at Panera or like a clubhouse or people's houses. And so I gathered a space, believe it or not, at the Winter Garden Elks Lodge. And I didn't know anyone there. I'm not really sure why I even thought to call, to be honest. And they said, we'd love to host you guys. We feel it's important. And my first little meeting, I just started a Facebook page to see anyone in the community. And 45 women showed up. And it should have been a group of like 10. And it took off. So this wasn't something I envisioned.
That was a niche. Yeah, you had something. You hit something. Yeah.
Or created. But through that group, I decided, you know what? You have two ways you can go when situations hit. You can either let it define you, and you can spend months, in self-pity and how do I do this, and thinking I can't do this and I don't want to. Or you look at it as a second leash on life, and I chose the latter. And that's not to say that there weren't days of, loneliness, and this wasn't what I had planned for the rest of my life, but it was different. And with my girlfriends around, I decided I went and tried paddleboarding for the first time, and found myself playing volleyball and taking up golf lessons, and just doing things that I had never thought was possible.
Right.
with girlfriends. And so hence came it started with girlfriends rocking life situations, meaning whether it be, divorced, or some people have lost husbands at this age, or empty nesters. You find yourself in all different phases of life. And as I've done this now 3 years in, I dropped the name from situations to just girlfriends rocking life.
Right, because that's what you're doing now.
Yeah, right. There's no situation. It's comprised of married women, single women, just women. It's not a definition of just going through a divorce anymore.
Right, and you support one another.
Very much so.
Right.
So we, I guess what's been really fun for me is being the leader of this group. Everyone comes to Julie and shares what they're going through. So I am in the process of now writing a book because, frankly, the chronicles of dating, I guess, have been just unbelievable. And I think there are so many women that are out there going through it that can relate. And then there are women who are married and might be in a phase of they're thinking, is the grass greener on the other side? And it's a difficult world out there. And I think if you can navigate through friendships and laughing at situations that could
Which
be
we do.
extremely awkward. But I've learned a lot in the past 3 years through all of these women and their experiences. And what I hope to bring, which I'm finding, is love and hope and happiness. And we have a class that I've actually started teaching. We start again September 6th, which is Single Life Reinvented.
Nice.
And it's a 2.0, we call it. And it's basically, if you're used to cooking for a family of four, how do you cook for a family of one? It's budgeting. It's recreating yourself. And we have makeovers going on and learning how to date and learning the apps. And, or more importantly, a person, a significant other, doesn't define your happiness. And I think that's so huge to learn.
Right.
So we, it could be a pet. The first thing I recommend, and we're heavily involved, is volunteering. And the reason this group, I believe, has worked is someone once said to me, this group is working because by helping others, you're healing yourself. And that's absolutely true.
Yes.
And the vulnerability, I don't have it figured out. I can't tell you, I went through a divorce and now I'm happily, found the man of my dreams or what have you. It's just not that easy. Right. But I can tell you that I'm happy with me. And that's what we all need to be. You can't rely on a person or a thing for your happiness. Definitely has to come within you, and you have to find that. And through this group and through the friendships, watching each woman in their journey, and there's still a good bit of them that are struggling. You could have a good day one day, and the next something could shatter your world.
And it's a growth. It's growing. And I think when you have everyone put together in everyone's situations, and you rely and you lean on one another,
definitely,
and that's your coaching right there.
Yes.
And you can't get a better one because you're all going through it together.
Right.
And there's different stages, like as we know, right? We have different stages, but someone's going to be along the same stage, and you're pulling each other up. That's how you visualize it, right? You're pulling each other up. No, it's a great community. I followed it. I see a lot what you do, and I was amazed. And that's why I had mentioned, I said, oh, I have to get her on the podcast because she's got a lot. And you do a lot of great things for these women. You're just doing it, and it's beautiful what's going on.
Thank you.
And
we're excited. We're about to take, this could be a journey in itself, our cruise. This is our second cruise.
Right. I was going to mention that you put also events together too.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
We so I have all these separate things going, and it is time consuming, and I do have a full-time job still, but it's in my heart, and so it's really means a lot to me. But we have Bible studies, we have the single support groups, we have Epcot. A group just went to the Wine and Dine Friday night. We have Winter Garden walks, happy hours, and we meet once a month, always at the Elks Lodge. So at the end of this month, we're having a ladies bingo night. And
Nice.
What was important for me is it's easy to meet up with friends and go to restaurants and what have you, but you're dropping $30 or more minimum. And so a lot of these women are on budgets and need to watch what they spend. So my monthly meet me at the Elks Lodge, it's like, $3 is all it takes. And that's just because I'm normally paying a fee to reserve it, or I also put out money and arts and crafts, and we usually have a dance routine we learn and do a TikTok, and I put things to make it fun and gift baskets.
Yeah, totally.
But we're taking a cruise September 14th.
Yeah, tell me about that cruise. I did see something on that, but I was like, oh,
Yeah,
where are you going?
So it's at MSC. We've never done this cruise line, and last year we did World Caribbean, and that was a lot of fun. So there's 34 of us going.
Wow.
We have 17 rooms, and we've chartered a bus, and we show up in our hot pink shirts and that say "Girlfriends Rocking Life." And
Nice, very cool.
we make quite the presence on the boat for sure, but it's really neat to see people. Some of these ladies have never had a vacation, and so to have a group event, they feel comfortable and safe, and it's affordable. It's been really, really exciting this year. I don't know that she's ready, but my mom is going on the cruise.
Oh, wow. I got your mama going.
As my roommate. And I don't know that she's quite prepared for the amount of work, whoever's in my room, because for me, I feel like I'm responsible for everyone. So it's constant, want to make everyone's having fun, everyone's included.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about this group is it doesn't matter age or ethnicity or where you come from or how much money you have. Everybody is welcome and everybody loves each other. And it's kind of like no mean girls,
Right, yeah.
So I make sure it's really difficult to make sure everyone is included because it's a lot of work. But it's super important to me, and that's what this group's all about.
And you're doing a great job. That's all I can tell you.
Oh,
And everyone agrees. You're doing phenomenal. There's so much what you were doing.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why we wanted you on here. We wanted Julie.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, she's got some good stuff going on. She's got good stuff. But let's kind of dive into some questions about, like, single, you're out there, everybody's dating. Let's think, what is, well, first of all, someone comes into your group and they are single, and probably a lot come into you because they may have just broken up, gotten out of a marriage or relationship. What do you suggest for them to do? And when they come in, when they say, listen, I'm looking to hang out with some friends, what's your first suggestion when they start talking about dating? What do you suggest?
The first thing that happens is I'll get a message because we have people that want to join the group, and I sift through all of them. And it's a private, closed group for, we discuss a bunch of things. So we want to keep it private. But they'll tell me they're going through a hard time or they're getting a divorce or separated. And I'll say, I'll personally reach out and say, listen, we're meeting. Or would you like to meet for coffee?
Nice.
And
okay.
if myself, coffee or cocktail, whichever way, but if I'm not available, I've got a team of about 10 really strong women that have been through some hard circumstances and have come out on the other side. And I feel like they're wise and they have a lot to share. And if I need them, they're there for me in a heartbeat, which is amazing.
Absolutely. Team. You need your team.
But I can recall one woman that I had met with recently, and she just the world had seemed shattered, and she hasn't worked in 30 years. And what does she do? And I had coffee with her, and I said, have you thought about volunteering? And I knew there was an organization close by because we had volunteered there during Christmas time when the kids were in high school. And I said, they would really love one of the elderly homes. They love to have people come over and play the piano or just sit with them or talk. And she just lit up. And again, it just came back to when someone feels like they don't have a purpose anymore.
You have to have a purpose. Yeah, we've talked about that.
Defined by a marriage or by being a mom, and now your kids are off. There's so many areas we can plug into. And when you fulfill those voids and volunteering and you're helping someone, it comes back to that healing again.
Yeah.
And she's doing really, really well. And she plugged in. And then I plugged her in with the other ladies that are about her age. And that's what's cool, too, is we have a website. And we post where everyone lives in Orlando. So you can see, well, who's in my neighborhood? And then you can reach out to them and say, would you like to go walking or have coffee or something?
Yeah, great. You got some good stuff going on.
A big network connection is basically what it is.
And I think it's great that it's just women. Because everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
You start mixing stuff up, it can get a little crazy.
Yes.
I don't have to tell you that. They're not focusing. They're always focusing.
Now, I will say we do have our Single Life, our Reinvented class. It's open to the community starting in mid-September. It's open to men and women that are single and going through the journey.
Oh,
That you, Phil.
I know, but still, there's some hope. There's some hope.
So, it's fun when you add the men in the mix, and I'm the eternal. You can imagine if I connect people. Even in high school, I remember being the little matchmaker. So I kind of watch the room and kind of think, oh, who do I think might end up, going out on a date or something. But so far that hasn't happened. Everyone's become really good friends, and the men that we've had in our groups have become like brothers to us. And you just mean a lot to each other when you go through some tough times. But yeah, we're excited. And so the next phase, I think we talked about, Ellie, too, hosting some single mingle events.
Yeah. Well, did I tell you the one I told Phil when I came in today? So Phil, by the way, I'm working on because Target with a Cause is a nonprofit fund organization that we formed, and we're going to be hosting it's going to be a male auction.
Oh,
I didn't tell you, we're going to be auctioning off men.
Nice. Okay.
Wait, Phil? No. So it's going to be single men, and I'll explain that to you. So you're going to need to help me with that one. We're going to put that one together.
Oh, that sounds
and it's a lot of
exciting.
fun, but I don't want to take up the time talking about that on this.
No,
But
that sounds great.
yeah, I actually did it in New York because I did a lot
fun.
of stuff in New York and with fundraisers, and yeah, it was a lot of fun for a lot of people, and the guys got to have dates too. Everyone had to go on their date. And,
I don't know any man that wouldn't be flattered to have someone want to pay money to go on a date
yeah,
with
and
them.
and it's going to a good
flattering,
cause too. Yeah,
which
I
is
mean,
amazing.
yeah, we auction a lot. Why can't we auction men? So that's what we did. We auctioned men, and yeah, I mean. And I will say when we do the auction, of course, you can't get insulted if you went for $50 and the other guy went for 1,000.
Right. Well,
Wait, Phil, you might go for 50.
Wow.
You had $1 million they'd pay for Phil.
I think with the male auction, perhaps when we screen them, we perhaps just from the dating profiles I've seen in the past, maybe we should help them with their attire. Some of the men don't realize you can't bring your Disney tennis shoes and white socks to the male auction. That's
Right,
that's a $10 auction bid right there.
Well, that's just it. You come in with those Disney sneakers, you might get someone that pays $5. So yeah.
Right.
Well, we'll have a wardrobe check on that.
It's
You need a stylist, a male stylist there.
I do think there is a career to be had in a female sitting down with men and their dating apps, their profiles, and I'm sure you've seen, Ellie. I'm currently not on it right now, but in the past,
The fish.
the fish picture.
What's up with the fish?
If I see another selfie with a toilet behind them, find somewhere else.
Thank
but I
you.
don't want to see your toilet because
We
then
look
I'm
at that.
I'm zooming in and I'm seeing, are they keeping their bathroom clean and what type of products do they? It's ridiculous the things you're zooming in and
Yes.
looking.
So Julie, let's just say that real quick. Men, if there's any men listening, I don't know. We do zoom in and we do look not at you. We look at what's around you. And when you have your bed not made,
Yes. Yes.
or just stuff in the background, it's like, oh God, no, flip.
Or better yet,
go to
if
the
you're
next.
taking a selfie in your bedroom and
Yeah.
you zoom up and there's a hot pink bra on there, that's your girlfriend, wife's.
Well, that'll be another podcast.
Right, for sure.
The do's and don'ts.
Definitely.
Yeah, so there's a lot. Yeah, it's funny with all that. But
Hey, before you start, I wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's watching. So if you are watching, the phone number here is on the screen. If you do want to call in, if you want to ask any questions, it's 352-717-4071. We are live on Facebook. So all your comments and stuff will be seen and heard, and we will wait for you. So there's people watching. They're lurkers. So there's definitely people watching. So say hi, guys. We are live. This is a live show. We are live.
thank you for
on the air
listening.
right now. Everybody can see you, and so hello. So there you go.
So I think we talked about even taking some questions. We'll go over some dating. I think what I wanted to convey too.
well, I wanted to mention to you.
talk
also.
about what do you think on the dating?
Well, dating with a purpose.
Yes, that is number
What
one.
is that?
So I actually attended a class. It was a Bible study class actually on dating with a purpose, and it was a little difficult because I thought, well, if you've been married, and we'll say late 40s or plus, it's a different world. You're not waiting perhaps to get married, to be intimate with someone, and maybe you could the second time around, but it's rare. But dating with a purpose is knowing what you're going out for, or on an app. If you haven't figured out, am I looking for someone just for companionship? Am I looking for someone just for, honestly, intimacy and fill that void? Or are you looking for someone as a life partner? And it's difficult if you go on a date with someone because those different things are different things you're looking for. So, what I'm looking for in a life partner is going to be very different than, one of the other two situations, just a friend or what have you. And we learned in this class how you've got to know what your purpose is before you're on these dating apps to even get to a date, honestly.
I agree with that, but a lot, you probably didn't watch our other singles podcast we did with Dayton, and we brought that up. And I don't care what you write on there, you know what you want, but that's not what's applying because they're not reading, they're just looking. And a lot, and I have gentlemen tell me a lot of times they don't read. They just figure what they do is they just click, 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 and figure if they click that they like 100 women, 3 of them might get back to them. I'm like, oh, great.
Numbers game.
Yeah, it's a numbers game. So I'm like, okay, great. So there we go. This is the problem with the online dating, like this type of dating, where you're not reading and you're click, click, clicking. So meanwhile, you could put on there that you're looking for a man that you want to settle down with and have a nice relationship. Well, that man just clicked you because he looked at you. He's like, I want her. He's not looking at for what what you wrote. That's the biggest problem. So the organic, if you can meet people organically, as we all know, it is a much better
Situation.
scenario. Yeah, but
I will tell you though, I have my rules. I tell the girls, and I think most women do this. If not, they should. I give it like a day or so of this texting. To be honest with you, anyone can text, and now you have, what is it, the AI or what have you. You could honestly not even know what to say, and it'll tell you what to say to someone. But anyone can text. But if you're texting someone, phone call's got to be next. I would never meet someone for a coffee or a date and have not had a physical conversation, because if they can't carry a conversation or you're not engaging, that outing is going to be miserable.
absolutely, and you're wasting time. You're wasting time. So same thing. I tell people, couple messages back and forth, and immediately get on the phone. Try to talk. Don't. And a lot of people say, well, they should FaceTime. You know what? A lot of times we don't want to FaceTime. Even right now, I don't want to FaceTime. You're all over the place, and you just don't feel comfortable to FaceTime. You could be driving in your car looking like a mad woman, and you just don't want to, right? So we're like, all right, well, let's just talk first. And then I feel too, meet up. And it could be anywhere. It could be on a park bench, be a public place. Just don't make it a continue. I talked to people that said, I've been texting them. Well, how long? About 3 weeks. I said, why are you texting for 3 weeks?
Text.
It could be anything.
It
It could be anybody on that other side.
And I feel like if someone's texting a good bit and they're not wanting to meet up,
They're catfish.
How do you not wonder, are they actually married, or they have someone else and they're missing something, and so they were just seeking attention?
True.
And who has time for that? I will tell you a funny story. So I had a while ago had met someone on the apps, and he had these awesome pictures, and it looked like he was this cowboy, and I had just finished watching Yellowstone last year, and I thought, ooh, that sounds sexy, right? And
He must have too.
so I'm looking at all these pictures, and he's got this horse in the background, and he's very striking. Message a couple of times, get on the phone. He speaks hardly any English. He lives in an apartment in the middle of the city, North Orlando, and he does not have a horse, has never ridden a horse, and he literally took these pictures with a backdrop from Sears, like copy and paste. And so as I'm thinking, I'm talking to this genuine cowboy, and this is exciting. This guy was nothing like that at all.
So you didn't even get to plan C.
I didn't, but to think that a man went so far as to have a Photoshop background so that it looks like he does all of these things was pretty incredible. And he was a little upset that I didn't want to meet him at all. And I think I just said, we're 2 hours away, and that's too far. And he proceeded, well, if love is worth any drive.
Right.
And I thought,
they do say that.
Love's not worth your fake cowboy.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Go out on a date in Sears with
Well,
a backdrop?
darling, I'm an urban cowboy.
I know, right?
That's crazy to go through all that for that. That's wild. I mean, what were they thinking?
I literally said to him, have you dated anyone? No, I've been successful. And I said, well, perhaps your Sears photo backdrop is, you have to be you. If someone doesn't like you for you, then they're just not the person for you.
Except for that FaceTime. And
Oh gosh. Oh, good Lord. Then they all want to FaceTime. That scares me too, because if you want to FaceTime at midnight, a million things go through my mind. What you're doing on the other end of that camera.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I just don't want to be part of all
Yeah,
that,
no,
for sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
So there's definitely some interesting things out there in the dating world.
Tell us, like, one of your craziest dates, or you have any fun date stories that you can share?
So, I can reach in my bag of dating stories, and it's not per se. Remember, if there's this big network of women that I can have stories to share. I'll never forget, someone had gone out with someone that a couple of dates in, they were romanced and wined and dined, and he pulled out a Disney bag and filled with things, and she thought, oh, this is fun. Maybe he likes Disney, what have you. And
Disney junkie.
it ended up being a bag of adult S&M type things.
Oh my God! And he camouflaged in a Disney
In a
bag.
Disney bag. Yeah.
Gosh.
So, and the young lady was like, well, I don't even know what this is. And it's evidently there's a whole world out there. And there's a whole, literally, that's what people do, where women submit to this type of man. And it's a whole role thing. It's not just during intimacy thing, bring out the Disney bag, but
Oh my
it's a way of
God.
life.
We are in Orlando, for those who don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
So that's why we're a lot of
And
Disney.
it was interesting because the person said that they told him, if you go and you see people, now no one will wear these, but the little collars, the choker necklaces with the spikes,
Oh gosh.
kind of like a pet or
I wore
a
it for
dog
Halloween.
collar.
I did wear it for Halloween.
Well, evidently, he said that's a signal to let other men know that you're into that.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
And because it's common for the woman to be on their hands and knees, and it's this relationship, and there's a whole book about
Oh
it.
my
And I
God.
read a little bit because to me, I thought I can't even comprehend this.
So
but
read the rest of the book, and next time we have you on, you'll tell us about
I know. I'll update you.
Or we don't want to plug that. But never mind.
But it's
Oh my
crazy.
God,
you know?
yeah.
And another friend of mine went on a date, and she's, again, I don't recommend this. I was date 2. She had gone back to his place and was grabbing a glass of wine on the balcony, and came back, and next thing you know, he's wanting to handcuff her to a chair. She's like, oh my gosh. And
What the hell?
but this is date 2. And
Do
this
not
is,
go out their homes. And I shouldn't maybe say this. I might
No.
overstep in this, but please do not bring them to your house right away or go to theirs right away. You don't know
No.
what's happening, and also your drinks. Be careful about your drinks, because they drop stuff. I had a lot of, because I do coaching. I had a lot of clients tell me not a lot, but they were that date rape drug.
And it's,
Whatever they
what's
call that.
crazy is my
Yeah.
girlfriends and I were just saying, we were out, and believe it or not, Lake Nona area, and she's pretty sure that her drink, and you think it's just
Yeah,
the
they still
teenage
do it,
college
yeah.
girls, and it's not. And
No.
you really have to be careful. And we were kept telling one of the girls too, look, you just met this guy and he ordered you a drink, and you walked away while he got your drink. Never. Why would you do that? You've got to be
Yeah.
right there, watch that drink, and then if you're going to put that drink down, you're not picking it back up. Because
Exactly.
you just don't know.
Don't ever leave it out of your sight.
But one of my friends recently said, she goes, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, I was violently ill. I knew I wasn't right. And she walked right out of the restaurant, and the valet guy called her an Uber. She remembers nothing. She doesn't remember how
that's
she
it.
got home. And he had used her phone to get her Uber account to get her home safely. But it could have gone in such a different way. It's a different world out there.
Yes.
And so the other thing, too, in this girlfriend group, we have a rule. Anyone going on dates, find a friend, and
Yeah.
they have to track you.
Yeah, we've done
And
that.
it works out great because we know that people are safe. I did it once years ago, and I forgot that my best friend was tracking me. And so I had been on, I think, 2 dates that night. I went through a phase where it was like 30 dates in 30 days.
Yeah,
I think we all do that in the beginning at some point. But I decided to then go meet someone else later, and I forgot my friend was tracking me. So at 10:30, 11, I was going to meet the other guy that I had hit it off with, and I get a little message, "Where are you going, my dear? And why aren't you going home?"
You're like a little
And I was
fairy
like,
prince.
"Oh, darn it! I
Godmother.
totally forgot that she was watching
That's funny.
the car. We're moving,
That's cute. Yeah, that's so good.
Julie, I got a question for you here. Starting with online dating, why do you think so many people ignore red flags right out of the gate?
That's an easy one. I think every female's hoping and wishing for that Prince Charming. I think we're all out there, and I'll be honest, Ellie and I had a talk at our age, and I'm not saying that we're old, but we all have baggage. This isn't when you're just starting out dating. We've all been through something in our lives.
And like we said, it depends on how we all have baggage. It's whether or not it's going to be checking under the plane or overhead.
Yeah. Yes.
How heavy it is.
Yes. And we talk about that too. And the
Yeah.
dating for a purpose. Make your list of your unacceptables. Some
Yeah.
people don't want to date men with young children, vice versa. And I think some of those red flags, you think, well, perhaps let's not kid ourselves. We all think maybe I can change this, or maybe this is workable. And
Well, we're nurturers. For most women, we nurture and we look for that and we look for those problems just so, I'm not saying we want to fix them, but we're always trying to fix something, right? We're always trying to. So we meet somebody, we'll say, well, he's nice, but he did this, this, and this. And as adults, as older women, I think we see it quicker.
yes,
I think we do. We'll say, well, that's really not the way you should be, he should be doing, or they should be doing. So there's a lot of red flags. Were you asking what kind of red flags? What some
No,
of the?
say why do so many red flags get ignored right out of the gate?
Do you want to talk about some red flags we've seen?
oh,
Yeah, let's
we could,
go ahead.
for sure.
Come on.
Uh,
I know you got a few.
Gosh, I'm probably the worst person to talk to. I'm currently dating someone with red flags, probably 3 in a row, 3 strikes.
Oh, wait a
so-
minute. He's not on here, is he?
No, he has no idea.
Okay,
he doesn't
good.
watch the podcast, but
Wait, are you sure? Because someone's commenting. Never mind. You do have somebody in the chat. They say hi.
oh, hi, Laura. No, I think little things like never been married. So if you have someone that's never been married, and that's the relationship I'm in now, it's different because that person, at this age, over 50 or what have you, they've never been responsible for someone else, never had kids, never been married. That's a hard one. It is very much like, having another child, meaning there's a lot of growth involved.
Yeah, and I have to agree with that. And when you and I discuss this, I don't like to say get rid of that person, never been married, because that's not nice either. But that is when I'm out there and I'm looking, and that's the first thing I say. I'm like, God, they were never married, or even had a child. If they had a kid out of wedlock, I'd be okay with that.
Right.
It's like in other words, that responsibility of another person, or if they've been in a long-term relationships, okay, that's cool too. But I mean, I've talked to guys that are in like 49, even 50, and have not been in a relationship more than 3 years.
And I think
That
that's
to me is a red. That is a red. I mean, that thing's smacking you in the face.
yeah,
Right?
definitely. Or,
How can that be?
Someone that lives at home with their parents at this age, that's a red flag.
Yep.
I think too, we have to have boundaries, and that's one of the classes we're going to have being taught is boundaries, because
good.
you and I have such giving personalities, and as you all can imagine, I'm the eternal fixer. So that's not good in dating, because I can tend to see, well, it's almost like a challenge or a project. How can I get this person to better themselves, which is not a great way to date, but I truly believe in every relationship, whether it's a week, a month, years down the road, even marriages, if you learn something, if you walk away from a relationship or even a date, and when I say dating with a purpose, you have to go on multiple dates. And then after the date, you
Absolutely.
look back and you say, here was the good, here was the bad. And then you take it to your little journal and say, so this is what I know I want, and this is what I know that I didn't like.
Gotcha. Let's turn this a little bit. Let's talk about the difference in dating the younger man, the older man versus older versus younger. Did you find a difference in, and we want to get into explicit, but the
Yes, we do.
wait. No, really, I mean, there's a difference, but what's your opinion on that?
Ellie and I, we talked the other night about this.
Yeah, I told Phil.
I
told Phil, you and I, we had a pre-podcast. I think we lasted
did.
like hours. We were just talking about everything.
did. And then we found ourselves scoping out the minute at the bar and kind of really almost...
And I knew that guy had a ring before we even got there.
We were kind of guessing. It's a fun game to play. Let's guess his story, right? But
Yeah, we did good. We
we're
did
pretty
right.
spot on.
Yeah.
But I can't say... I can say that I've had offers from younger men to go on a date. And myself, I I kind of knew kind of where that would go, and so I didn't take up on that. And pretty sure no one, the boyfriend's not watching. We're good, but I bought a car yesterday.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
thank
Good.
you. It
Oh,
went
yeah, good.
really well.
Nice.
And then my car salesman, I thought was so extremely nice, and he's 39. And by the end of yesterday, I was asked out on a date, and he sent me, he's going to send me bottles of wine, and it's just interesting. I just didn't even think someone 39 years old, is interested. But
Of course they are. We talked about that.
evidently,
We have I have friends in their upper 50s that are got 24-year-olds asking them out, and one the other night asked my friend out. She's 58 years old.
Can I tell you why?
Well,
Go
no,
ahead, Phil.
but his birthday. Hold on, it was his birthday, and he asked her to go with him for his birthday. She didn't go because that's not what she's going to do.
Right.
I thought it was nice that he asked at 20. Well, he was turning 25.
Oh my gosh.
But
Maybe it's on the bucket list. Well, but that the flip side.
and then Phil can tell us.
Phil, we've talked about this. It's hard too if you're at our age and you look at more mature men.
They're scared.
You
They're-
want to
they've
make
been-
sure the mature men either one of two things.
They're broken.
They either in their 50s, late 40s, 50s, they want to.
I didn't mean that, Phil.
They want to find the 30-year-olds that are
Yes.
perfect little bodies. And but I'm going to tell you, if you're 60 years old and you're going after the 30-year-old, I hope you have the money to back that up, because yes, there are people that truly fall in love with each other, but I think some of these men feel like they get out of a marriage and they have something to prove, and it's about the looks, and it's all superficial.
Yes.
And as a woman, it's hard. I can tell you, when I was on the dating apps, am I going to what age younger? Because then I'm going to have children and baggage and what have you as well. Or older, you worry, frankly, are they going to bed at 8 o'clock? And then we'll address the other issue. Honestly, I felt like a dating question should be, do you believe in Viagra? And I hate to even say that. I would never say that on a first date, but you have to think about, in the older generation, what that means for you. And depending on what you're looking for, if you're still wanting an active life in all areas, you got to really look at who you're dating. It's a different ballgame.
And I think you're right about that. And we don't want to categorize everyone, men, in that category, but we're still full of life. At least we think we are. We are. We want to go out. We want the 3-ring circus. We do. And that's probably one of the harder things for some of the men that are within our age groups, because they can't. And even though they may think they can put up, we got a younger, we can get, well, the younger one is going to destroy you. Whether it be in your pocket, it might be in your pocket, but, and I think with us, we're looking for so much, but we don't want to date too young.
Right.
And that's the problem. We don't want to go so young, but yet when we're trying to stay in our age groups, it's like,
It's difficult.
Yeah.
I think.
yeah, it is.
And it depends on, and nothing is wrong, but where are you in your dating process? And none of it's wrong. And it is, are you looking for companionship? Are you looking to just have a good time and enjoy life? Some of these women, they're not looking for someone to move into their house and be with them 24/7. They want someone to go to concerts, or, go for boat rides, or go to dinners. Maybe that 25-year-old, or maybe that 32-year-old, that's that person. I don't know. They'll certainly keep up with you and have the energy.
I agree with that.
if
Yeah.
you're-
Where do you cut it off? Where do you draw the line? Is that what you're saying?
I am. And
When
then
do you draw the line?
If you're
We
looking
don't.
for
Should there be?
a long-term commitment, and the younger ones, you have to think, do they have children? Do they want children? So that's, I think, where my friends and I, when we looked, and myself when I was dating, I drew the lines at, I think I stopped it at 45 at the time. And that was when I was a little bit younger, but just because I didn't want to deal with, and if they'd never had children, I thought, well, that's a no-go for me. So it comes back to dating with a purpose and knowing your purpose. And if you know what your purpose is, and you ask that question, about, sometimes you get on dates and the men say, well, they just clicked on your picture. On the phone call, I was really good at, when I was in this dating game, of saying, hi, so what are you on here for? 1, 2, or 3? And are you just looking to have a good time? And all of these options I was giving them, I acted like any of them were cool with me. They totally weren't, but I wasn't going to, let that. Just a good time, a friendship. Are you looking to find someone for a relationship? And you'd be amazed at the amount of men who would actually say, well, I want to have fun.
Oh yeah, totally. I agree with that. Yeah.
At least they were honest. And then you kind of knew where to go with that. Or, we haven't even gotten to, I'm sure Phil's going to crack up on this one. I asked a guy once, how was your golf game? And the next text I got was a picture of his penis. I mean, I wasn't thinking that was in your golf game.
That was
Check out this 9-iron.
Yeah.
Check out this club.
What a loser.
Crazy. And so quickly said, sorry, not for me. And anyway, but it just amazes me and how many men, as you know, too, on the apps think that. And I think I even had that in my profile at one time. No, pics allowed. Right, that's what I wrote.
Dick pics.
And it was almost like that was a challenge for them. I swear that day I got like 15 in my inbox. And I was like, what is this, a contest to see, do I change my mind? But,
they don't care. Well, Phil, like you would say, they're going to put it all out there and just try it and see who takes the bait.
That is true. And perhaps, maybe
Phil,
actually, if I do have a friend that did tell me, she would pick size didn't matter to her. So maybe that kind of person, maybe that's how they got through, and that, based on that.
But I think the spinoff on, as we talk about the men, the dating, and the dating sites, the spinoff is what we have for the alternative is girlfriend's rockin' life.
Yes.
Or your girlfriends. And I think that's filling the void around these dates. Okay, go on dates, but we can't always get what we're looking for as a woman. There's things we want, obviously, from men. We get into grab all that. But, there's things that you get more from your girlfriends. And I think that group fills that void. Because we can't. You go on these dates or go on. They could be like, enough's enough, You need that time with other people, too. Other than just dating, your dates.
I tell you what's really refreshing for me is anytime I'm with any of these ladies and I leave or even go into the event, I'm always so excited and just I can be me and we feel refreshed and you have such a good time and then just laughing with the other women and you always feel inspired and lifted up. Like every outing I have,
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
With my
I agree.
Girlfriends,
yeah.
It's never a situation where you leave thinking, analyzing. I think women are definitely overanalyzers.
Overthinkers.
When you're on a date, you could be analyzing every part of it, or when you get done, I wish this could have been this way, or this was amazing that way. When you're with the girlfriends, there's no judgments.
Right.
There's no expectations.
Do you think we look for that sometimes in a man? Almost that feminine side of we want to be friends. Of course, friends with the benefit. But sometimes you never get to the benefit because you can't get through the friend part. I can't take that person. You're like, oh my God.
That's a good thought. I think for me personally, my new outlook this year has just been no expectations. I really believe in my own personal journey. I spent so much time looking for the future and what does the future hold. But if you just enjoy every moment with whether this person or your friendships and knowing that your happiness does not rely on another person.
Right. You have to find it within yourself, 100%.
Outcome is not based on this other person's opinion of you. And you just go and you have a good time. And as long as you're enjoying your time with people, whether it be your friends or, someone you're dating, and you have no expectations, you're good. The problem would be if you reach that next level and that person's not on the same page. And that's why we were curious. Maybe Phil can help us. We had some ladies that are in constant, they'll go on dates, and then there's a commitment problem. Like the men, they think they're dating just them, and then everything's going well. They're meeting their families, and then...
So why are they dating multiples? Is that what the question is?
The question is, if they're spending all this time with you, and then you happen to have plans one night, why can't this man be alone? The thought...
Insecurity.
The thought is, or being told, well, you weren't available, so I just went out to dinner with another lady. And it's like, well, why are you still on the apps if we're going out? That's,
I agree with that.
And that's been several women in this group, and I don't have an answer because from a man's perspective, to me, that's a lot of work. Like, you're really going to juggle more than one woman? That's a lot of work to have to put in.
I think it's definitely an insecurity. I mean, Phil might not. Phil, what's your thought?
Well, so I'll preface this. I've been married for 13 years. So,
Congratulations.
but so
Phil's not juggling anybody. He's got
no,
one. He's got
no,
one woman.
But what happens is that guys say that because they want you to think that they have options. So, if you're not available, then I'm gonna go move on, and then maybe gives you a sense of urgency that, oh well, he wants to spend time with me, and then I can't do it, so maybe he's gonna move on to somebody else. So let me cancel my plans and be with him.
Needy.
Yes. Yes.
That's needy, but we can't do that in our lives
Don't do
now.
that. But you also did say, Julie, you said no commitments. So you don't get mad at him if he has other options. Because you guys didn't commit that you guys are exclusively dating.
Okay, you're telling us, Phil, your opinion is when you go out with a gentleman, if you go out with him, say once or twice, whatever, you feel like you're into him, you should at that point say, are we in a committed relationship? Or
No.
what would you say?
No, I would definitely put, because, Julie, your whole purpose is dating with a purpose, right? So a lot of my friends who are, we're all in our mid 30s or late 30s, when they're in that same stage too. So when they are dating, they're not just dating, they're dating with a purpose to eventually lead somewhere. So when you guys have those conversations, put that out on the table, and say, hey, I'm actually looking for a stable relationship. I am currently dating, so I am speaking with other people.
That must be the age gap, because they do. I mean, you're dating women in their 40s and 50s. I shouldn't say they're all settled. We're all settled. But I think they are saying that.
Well, so a question, a guy question. When you're dating someone, how many dates or how many months of dating? Is it too soon after 2 months, 3 months to say, are we in a committed relationship? Is it asking too much to expect that at that phase? Because what we're seeing in this age category is some of these men, I don't know if it's just a free for all and they're out on their own again, but after 3 or 4 months, they're not ready to say, yes, I'm good with just you. It's almost like they're keeping that one foot in the app just in case it doesn't work out. But at what stage is it too soon after 2 dates? I don't know that you should say, are we in a committed relationship? But certainly after 3 months, or Phil, what is that timeline?
So my question is, do you think has he acted different after y'all slept together? So, if for me, I'm talking about for me, if I am dating somebody and it's a couple of months, there is going to be no doubt that we are together in a committed relationship, because I'm a very lovey-dovey, touchy-feely.
All right, Phil, it's not all about you right now. Wait, your wife. I sent the link to your wife.
Good. Watch it, baby. You can comment and tell how exactly.
Yeah,
how
I
do,
didn't.
But yeah, I think that if they need to make it known. I mean, as a man, I'm kind of traditional in that way. Be the one who leads and say, hey, we are in a committed relationship. I don't want to have you guessing.
But do you think women are afraid of that? If they ask a man committed, that the man's going to run?
Yes.
Most men are runners, let's face it.
Well, but I think here's back to...
You laughing, Phil?
Back to dating with a purpose. I think men lie, too.
Yeah,
on that first or second date, hey, are you and I guess maybe that's scary. You don't want to say on the first date, are you looking for a long-term relationship? And he's like, oh, Lord, I'm done now, because...
Right. We're going to give I'm going to give a class on that, how to think. I told you that.
I'm going to think like a man.
I told her I'm going to give a class on how to think like a man. How's that, Phil?
Go for it.
Okay. Okay. Now, do we want to take any call? Does anybody want to call in? Or
well, the number is on the screen, so you got people watching. So if they do want to call in, they can. So
ask Julie. Give any questions for Julie? Or
I'd love, if anyone's watching. Phil has a good question. I don't have this answer because I don't know that I got to that point and then didn't know. So question, I would love for, some feedback here. Once you slept with them, did you notice the change and the commitment level? I don't know, from what I know from the friends of mine's stories, there wasn't I know where Phil's going. Once you slept with them, did they back off? The answer was no. I think it's truly, some of these men truly have very big issues. They are broken, and that's what they've said.
We talked about that.
They're insecure, and the thought of you not with them, they can't eat alone and be alone. And talk about a red flag, Phil. It's a red flag, but then you think in your heart, can you love them enough? Can you love them enough? I'm a Christian person, and for me, this journey has been about showing people love and forgiveness and grace. I feel like some of these men perhaps haven't had that in their life. But at what point do you say, I can give this so much and then I can't give any more myself? The minute it turns when you're disrespecting yourself or your self goals are feeling bad, then I think you need to end that one.
And I think, as much as they may say women are afraid to be hurt, I think men are even more afraid to some degree, and that's why
We don't know how to react to being hurt, though.
Yeah, see, I think we handle it different. We're men, I think, are just runners.
Yeah, women, what is it? Ice cream, and I watched the movie the other night. Ice cream and a bottle of wine, or I don't know what else.
Yeah, or men don't want to deal with it. It's going to hamper their. It's going to affect their thinking.
Well, women get catered to when they hurt. Men don't. Men get told to suck it up, so they don't. They don't know how to react to getting their feelings hurt, or
they'll just leave the situation,
or they'll run because
they're runners.
They don't know how. They don't know how to react to it. So that's
Shit,
just
we should
their
sponsor
way
a 10K run. I bet we'd have
right.
We'd have a lot of donations for that.
Maybe, I don't know, Ellie. I'm thinking your auction. Maybe that auction could be this 5K for.
Yeah. Well, we can do those too.
The men that run. We could
call it the men that run. Well, they're all going to sing. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's easier to turn it off than deal with it. And I think that's an issue with a lot of people.
We're taught to suppress our feelings.
And I think this is hard too because you've got us women.
Yeah.
We've got Phil there, but if you had some male opinions here in common, and there are some really good men in my life, friends that I've met that they've gone through the other side where
we're
going
to do more. We'll do more with Collins.
Very hard, and it's not easy for them as well.
Yeah,
but I will tell you one thing that I despise. People say that your picture doesn't look like this. I've heard when I go on dates that, oh my gosh, you actually look like your picture, and I think, well, of course, that's why they FaceTime, honestly. But the same sense, if you're 5'5", do not put on an app that you're 5'10", because then we can't make you taller. So when I show up and I've got my cute little wedges or, feeling cute.
We talked about that too.
Oh, gosh.
You had that story. Tell me that story again.
So I call this one, they're all named, but Elmer Fudd, nicest guy ever.
I think I went out.
It was in Tampa.
Oh, no.
Truly a gentleman. We talked, for a week. I was just really busy and we were going to meet in Lakeland area and super nice. Well, he thought by the end of the week I was the woman of his dreams, and he'd been waiting his whole life. And at that point, I knew this is never going to work because that's just love bombing, right? Too fast, too soon. So I get there, and he said, "What should I wear?" And this man, does do very well for a living. And I said, "Well, just dress nice, Florida casual." I remember my tennis shoe comment, right? I think I said I wouldn't wear the Disney tennis shoes, being funny. I get there. He's about 30 pounds heavier. He's about 4 inches shorter, and he's got on the white socks and tennis shoes. And I just thought, how can I get out of here quickly?
Yeah.
Because I already know this is not going to be good. Such a gentleman, and we had a very nice dinner. And, the bad thing is I wouldn't want to tell someone you're just too short for me because they can't fix that. They can't change that. And to me, I wouldn't want to hurt someone.
Exactly, but that's on the app. That's on the application. So why are you, and you'll talk to men. You'll talk to men, and they're going to say the same thing that we're saying. She's heavier. She was shorter. She was taller. She was this. Well, if everyone just was truthful on the app, you wouldn't be saying all that. But they do. We all had stories about that too.
We do.
Yeah.
I think the app is hard. I think the app's created a lot of problems too in dating, meaning years ago you meet someone and you're committed. We talked about being committed. You're involved. You're 100% going to try and put everything out there. With the apps, it's too easy if you get tired of this one to go somewhere else. There's too many options and
candy
choices.
Store. It's like being in a candy store.
I say now with Uber Eats out there, gosh, commitment to anything. Everyone can just, if something's not right or perfect, they move on because it's too easy. You just find something else out there. And I think for a woman, you stay a little bit longer because you know what qualities are out there and what's important to you. But I don't know that men are dating with a purpose. And they really look at, is it worth jumping onto this other person because I have to put a little more work into the other relationship?
Right. No,
I really think that's where we're at there too.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's educational. Everyone needs education on how to date too. It's not like and I also I don't know if you've ever done this. I've went on a date a few months ago now, and I was interrogated think I may even told Phil the story. No, I'm up in I get dropped off in an Uber, and I actually met the guy at, if I say it, Miller Ale House. So we talked. Nice guy. Okay, I'll go out on a date with you. It wasn't even like an internet date. I actually met him there.
Right.
So I'll go out on a date. I'll go out with him. So we met downtown Winter Garden, but I didn't want to drive. So I had my Uber lady drop me off. But I didn't, and I did that. But he asked me if he can pick me up. I said no, because I don't want them coming to my house. I don't want no one to know where I live.
Right.
So I met him down at, downtown. I get out of the car, and I see him staring at me. He's going, "Where did you just come from?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" He goes, "Where did you just come from?" I'm like, work? Because I told him I was getting dropped off from work. He goes, "Well, who's that?" I go, "The Uber driver." And he's interrogating me. And then as I'm going, and he's I got an attitude. We start walking into the restaurant, and he goes, "Well," I go, "What was that all about?" As I'm walking, so I'm like, "This guy's a nut job." I said, "Why were you like interrogating me?" Well, so when you got out of the car, you just noticed you have something on your pants. I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Yeah.
That's why he asked me. That's why I asked you where you were going. Well, naturally, I had to tell my Uber driver next time clean your car.
Well,
so whatever.
But
This is nuts. And he was a cop. So I don't
was
know.
just about to say, I wonder if this would have been a relationship where everything you did was constant insecurity and,
I didn't
and
even
just smothering.
absolutely. I wouldn't even order food. I ordered a drink. Text a friend of mine to meet me downtown. A female.
Wow.
A female. Said, "Do me a favor. You got to send me from this date because I'm not going to be able to stay here. I couldn't even eat." And the guy's like, "No, I can't." Question me about everything. Everything. How many kids you have? Why did you get divorced? You think if you ever got married again, you would divorce again? This was a guy that was never married.
Sally,
man-
Here's a comment from Sally here. I feel that if they lie about their appearance, then there will be more lies if the relationship continues.
True.
And
That
then we
is
got
true.
another one here from Monica. Hold on, it's a little cut off here, but she says, Phil saying guys taught to suppress feelings is interesting. I think a lot of men are avoidant. If feelings start to get real, they run/avoid suppress.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah. And I think the fear of getting hurt. And, I always say you've got two choices. You can put yourself out there and experience love, and it may be the greatest thing ever, and it may be a month or two, or you keep your guard up and you never experience love. And you have to decide which of those two paths that you want to take. And, I think putting your heart out there, that's the only way to truly have that intense, happiness. And you have to understand, too, long term. Phil's been married 13 years. Once you date someone for so long, the love changes into not that, oh, my gosh, this person just walked in the room. And,
That's the honeymoon stage.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Well, a lot of
more
people are looking for that all the time.
They are.
And that's another problem.
And learning for the secure love of, I can go out with my girlfriends and you go out with your friends and know that I'm so happy when I come home that I have this person. And that's a confident and mature love and trust. And Sally had a very good point.
Yes.
Honesty. I would rather hear that, you did something bad or you didn't like something or what have you. I'd rather someone be honest with me because then I never question versus not trusting them and not have the honesty.
Agree. And that's why to be able to go out organically and meet somebody and talk about yourselves in general. A lot of people come in like gangbusters. They start drilling you, questioning you. Why would you ask someone if you got married again, you think you'd want a divorce? Well, that guy was never married, by the way, that when I went on the date. He never married. And that guy was 50 years old.
Right.
Never was married. So right there, all this, I mean, he didn't have an app to read. He probably would have lied on it anyway because he said it was a natural, even though it was organically. But you just knew that was a total red flag. That man, who could live with somebody like that? Interrogation.
Well,
So-
and I'll tell you, I had another date that I had met someone, and he was a personal trainer, and I remembered as soon as I got the information, hi, I'd like to meet, and I literally wrote back, why? Do you like your product? That's you're in the gym 3 hours a day, and I'm in the gym maybe 3 times a week, and it's not the gym. Usually it's outside walking or what have you. And, but just trying to really filter in, like, what does this person need? And then it became very quickly, we hadn't even had a date. And he was very adamant about, now that we're talking, you need to get off the apps. And I said, we hadn't even met, but you could tell it's almost like he wanted someone a little bit more insecure to him so that he controlled the
Oh,
relationship.
totally. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
when I didn't agree to, go stay the weekend with him or have him come, to your point, to my place,
Yeah.
all of a sudden plans were changed and he was busy. And so, and that was good. I felt good about myself and decisions that I didn't cross any lines and
Yeah,
get caught up in that.
yeah, I always say that.
Your
Try to.
intuition, your
I always
intuition is
and I say
right on.
I could be wrong. I say 3 to 4 dates. I think you really need to give it 3 to 4 dates if you can to see if it's really going to work. And if they're into you and they think that this could work, they're going to be patient. The ones that fly off and say, "Oh, forget this," they're in there for the wrong reason. They're in there for the wrong reason.
So now I have a question. Interesting. A friend just went on a date, and she said, date one, very nice evening, very good intellectual conversation. I said, oh, well, were you attracted to him? And she said, very, very beautiful eyes. And I said, okay, so what are your thoughts? And she said, I'm looking for the person, the long term. So therefore, I grow to have that chemistry by their intellect. That is so sexy, and that makes me attracted. So it's interesting to me. Everybody's different, but I do feel a lot of people write off a first date
I don't
if
think
there's
you
not
can.
fireworks. And
I don't think you can. Again, it depends how rude. If they're rude, but I think it takes about 3 to 4, and by the third, I can even say that you already know which direction you're going, but you're going to say it depends. All right, I'll give them one more shot, and if they're willing to go that extra time, you might have something. This is for people who want a serious relationship,
right.
And if they're willing to go, I think that says something. Because otherwise, if it's not a one night, or if they call you up in your first day, could I come to your house? That's a problem.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Definitely. And then we talked too about there might be some women that are very, all of us are successful in our careers. And if you're out there on the dating scene and you go on a date and someone makes less money, not that that should come up, but you had mentioned
Yeah, I had a guy actually told me that, and I was like, well, now that you told me how much you make, I guess we should go on. See you later.
Right, right. Um, and it's also difficult. I always feel the dating scene for me, I would do coffee or Starbucks or ice
Absolutely.
cream.
Easy stuff.
During COVID, the joke was there's a park in our garden that we would grab picnic food and walk and talk in the park. And I loved it because I could easily say, oh, the bugs are bad and get out of that as quick as possible. But, it's expensive also for dating and knowing where men are at. And if you're dating someone that's paying child support and alimony and all that, it's just, again, this is a very hard and tricky age.
Yeah, I agree.
Some of my friends have said, I am happy doing things with my girlfriends, having me time. I don't know that I want to move in with someone. I want to have someone to go do things with.
I agree.
Or maybe, to your point, maybe I just want to have someone when I want the intimacy to have that. But I don't want that person etched in my life and deal with the drama and the work that it takes to go into a relationship, which, again, everybody's different.
Yes.
But we had talked about that.
Yeah, and I've talked to some women who do want that. That do want. I'm, as you know, I have no filter, but they'll say, what a man there was. They want them there all the time, and I'm like, why? Find yourself. And I think that's big too. When you first come out of your marriage is long term, you need to find yourself.
Yeah.
Do not go to another relationship, and I talked about that in the past too.
Yeah.
Keep it, slow it down.
And I
Find
think,
yourself.
Myself included, right out of the relationship, you're feeling hurt and not wanted. And you may end up, doing something and going out with someone that you would never have gone out with.
Or going out with a lot that you've
Right.
you might not have ever done.
Right. And one of the things we learn in even our divorce classes, self-care is there's a phase where you are feeling so down and so, unwanted that you can rebel. I mean, I volunteered my whole life. I was this mom and leader in the community, and none of us are perfect. And can I tell you that I made some decisions that I wish I hadn't have made? Absolutely.
Well, yeah, that's we're human.
But you're human, and for one moment in time, I just didn't want to be that perfect little housewife, that perfect person. I just wanted to do something for me and just not feel any of it. And that's a hard time to go through. And so we try and have people go through these classes. So instead of doing things that maybe they would regret later.
But it's also a learning process.
It is.
It's
and
a
you've got
little,
to,
you almost have to live it and do it,
and
because
you've got to live it and learn it.
and just hopefully, like I said, some of the choices that you're making don't hurt anyone in the interim, because it could be
It could be.
it could be
And
a
I
little
think,
dangerous.
too, you hit a point very important. A lot of us, myself, I was, college and then married and children and had never been alone, had never
yeah.
lived alone.
Keep your career.
And if I told you the amount of women in this group who say, I don't want to die alone, I don't want to be alone. And that's why we're here to say, but you're not alone.
But you're not alone.
You're not alone.
And I always say too, when people have told me this, well, don't you want someone to grow older? Well, I'm already getting old. No, and we have each other. I said we have friends. I said, who's just like, a man is going to be there with you to the end. There's no guarantee anyone's going to be there. Except, I always said too to a lot of my friends, even if you do get into a relationship, keep your girlfriends. This is since we were kids growing up. So it's keep your girlfriends. I'm not saying, make life with your new whoever you're with, but always keep a girlfriend or somebody around. Don't close everybody out. And I've had friends who've done that too. They get so entwined into that man, and when they break up, they're reaching out to everybody, and they got nobody. I says, well, it's because you can always keep one friend around. You can always,
And there's something to be said too.
Yeah.
Phil can tell us there's something attractive about a woman that does have an independence part of her. There's the extreme, but that you have your own life, whether it be a career, whether it be friendships, or you got to have something to bring to the table.
Yes.
What's going on in your world today on a date? If it's just, oh, well, I'm around you 24/7, my world revolves around you. And I'm not saying that a person in your relationship, your significant other, shouldn't come first. But what I'm saying is, like you said, keep your identity.
Oh, keep your identity.
Keep your identity.
We talked about a lot of that the other night. Some crazy stories. Won't get into all that now because I got to see what our time and how we're at. But
That's for episode 2.
yeah. Oh man. But the identity, and like you just said about keeping, doing things on your own, what you're bringing to the table. And I do believe, I don't know about you, but let's reverse that. If I'm with a man that's always with me, anything, I don't want to say I lose respect for them, but I kind of get like, get your shit, get on your own world, or do something. I think the men feel that way about the women a little bit, maybe not. But you almost feel like you may not treat them as your equal, and you may talk down to them. You may start feeling they're less of because they're not holding up their own. Does that make sense, Phil? We're going to you because you're the man of the group here.
It all depends on the person. It all depends on the person because sometimes that can seem needy, really, really needy.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A lot of men, it's a turnoff. I know for me, it would be a turnoff. That if I had a man all the time asking me, I'd be like, God, make your own decisions. And then I might get an attitude towards that man.
Well, for me, if I'm working all day and as you know, doing
you start building
20
resentment.
billion things, and what did you do today? And oh well, I had a day off and I just watched TV all day. To me, that just irks me, and it's not even my business that you watch TV all day.
No,
but
that's exactly what I'm trying to say.
50 other things that need to be done, and
bring it up. That's what I'm saying. So that might be a problem too in a lot of relationships, right? I'm not saying the men might start getting an attitude towards that person that's not maybe keeping up to what they're. I think you got the drift on that. What I was trying to say.
And what's interesting at our age, I've got a couple of friends that have gone out with men that are retired.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them said flat out, he said to her, "You need to have time for me." And she said, well, I'm still in the working world.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought was, well, if you don't have time for me, meaning daily, to see me or, be available when I want to do things, then it won't work. And I thought...
You should have thought that before you was married. What was she, 20 years younger? No,
no, this was a date. This was a second date.
Oh, a date.
And
I missed that one. Sorry.
Yeah, my thought is, what are you doing for yourself that you need that person that you're with? Again, there's that man, and it's an older gentleman. He's retired. I think he's 62. But that the person that he dates has to be available, daily. And if they have a career still, they're not around for him enough, then that won't work.
Well, then you got to swipe. What is it, left or right? Whichever way.
Yeah.
The one
swipe, right. And then there's the oops or in between or the super swipe, and you didn't know you did.
That's funny.
So I can't laugh at you. I will tell you, the instant communicator connector, the car guy, I instantly said, I'm not available, but I have all these single girlfriends. So here I am already, trying to match up the car guy with the single girls.
That's funny. You're good.
I
Well, you
wanna-
could have put them in your back pocket.
That's fine.
Wait,
Uh,
wait, shh. Turn the camera off.
yeah, I don't know about that one.
I'm being fresh.
I already got the car, so.
What did you get? What did you get?
You know, it's not even like it's some great thing. It was a great find. It's a Nissan Maxima. You guys will
Oh, yeah.
laugh.
Oh, they're nice.
Those
But
are nice.
it's the old lady car. A lady turned it in that can no longer drive. And I thought, okay, I'm thinking of this big hunker. I get out there and it's double sunroof and it's
No, they're
sporty.
nice cars.
It's a
Yeah.
premium. It's literally like some Mac Daddy car.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe an older lady was driving it. So now I went from a mom SUV to watch out because Julie's kind of looking kind of in
Oh,
the
cool for
sexy
you.
car now. Yeah,
good. I'm glad you got that sexy car.
Very excited. Very excited about it.
Can I ask both of y'all? I guess we can say this could be a final question. So one reason why I think younger men go after older women is, older women have their stuff together too, right? But also the men who are dating younger women who are also young, I think that they think that younger women have really unrealistic expectations based off of what they see on social media.
First of all, Phil, that's not what I thought you were going to say. So I'm excited that that is your thought. My thought is younger men are dating older women. I have been told because women know what they want in the bedroom. I
Yes,
thought
that's
that's
it.
what you were going to say.
Well, I didn't want to say it directly, but
Yeah, I was going to say that, and well, they know that we're not going to. Let's get married.
Right. So back to Phil's. Let's go back to Phil's PG question.
Yeah.
That we have it together. Perhaps in the sense of, do young men think that we have it together and we're going to financially take care of them?
no, I just
Well, that's what I
mean-
thought a few times.
No, I just mean is you know what you want. A, B, you've experienced it, right? So and C is that a lot of younger women. I'm just going off what I see here. So a lot of women have unrealistic expectations of men of their age. Like, oh, he's got to make 6 figures, be 6 feet tall, have 6. But like, there's a very, very small pool, and that they are eliminating men that are great for them. They just aren't there yet. And so older women to them fit better because they have that experience and they already know that, these guys are pretty good.
I will, it's funny that you said that. The 27-year-old that was very persistent, and I did not go on a date. We had met out in one of the dinner venues with my girlfriends, and that's what he said. He said, your outlook on life, your personality, the way you have your stuff together, I have my stuff together, and that you're just out with a positive energy. He said, you don't find that in younger women. There's all this drama. They're constantly, trying to do this for Instagram. And he's like, I just want a real person. And, I honestly was just like, no, you're wanting to hop in the bedroom is what I was thinking. But he kept just saying, no, you don't understand. I'm connecting with you in a way that I haven't with someone my age.
I agree with that.
And,
I agree.
so Phil, maybe you do actually have a point. I think for me personally, I'm just always so guarded of that really can't be. Even the car salesman, the vibe. And I think I mentioned, about doing this girls group and just, positive karma coming my way. And he just wrote, I admire you so much because you're a really kind, good person. And you might have a point there. And maybe our message to the women is don't let age be a thing, whether it be too young or too old. We talked about this, Ellie.
Of course we did, because there's a lot of it. And I better shut up.
Nope, say it.
Say it. Ellie's got her own.
We're live
experience.
now. Say
no,
it.
I know. Well, no, there's a lot of. Wait, we're not cougars. I'm just saying. No, but there's a lot. I find I have a lot more younger men that want to hang out than I do. Like the older men are. Well, most of the older men I meet are married. I don't know. We didn't get into that, but so you got a choice. Well, I shouldn't say that's where we live, but you got super young, and I mean, here you go, 24 and 25. We're getting asked out by super young guys. That's not for me.
No.
I don't mean to turn this around to make it sound like it's cold, but I'm not into that.
No,
I think try to keep in the 15, 20, no 20. At least keep it at 25.
See, I have a
I don't know. I didn't answer that
23-year-old
right,
daughter, so I can't.
well, that's what I
and
say.
the
I try not
20s
to
would
do.
be
Yeah, I try not to go younger than your
out.
kids.
I don't know. And then I think to myself, do I really want a 30-year-old?
I don't
if
want young. I don't. I just don't.
Yeah,
I'm
it would
not into
never
that.
be a relationship. That would literally just be just keeping that one in a closet, as Ellie said. And
Yeah.
and, yeah.
Well, see, that was our off-air conversation. I
Yes,
told her to keep them in
one
the closet.
if you need to. But yeah, I.
Feels like Ellie's hiding behind that mic today.
Oh.
But I think
yeah.
what Ellie and I wanted to
Yeah.
bring out today to women is whatever makes you happy and keeps your self-respect
And in the
intact.
closet.
And, right. Whether it be someone in the closet or
Yeah.
whatever makes you happy. You know, society tells us, you mentioned the other day, it doesn't have to be a Cinderella Prince Charming
Right.
to be your happiness.
Exactly.
If you're happy having a companion, if you're happy just having a friend, some people don't need any of that. They have their girlfriends and their
Right.
happiness is in,
Exactly.
their pet, a dog. It's society can't tell us what we should be doing and how we should be doing it.
Well, it's the stigmatism we said earlier about what society does. Focuses on a man and a woman or a relationship with one other person, and that's where you should be, and that's where it should end, and that's what you should do. You're supposed to grow old together. Who's to say? Like I said, who to say? You're growing old with that person. Enjoy life, and that's what we say. Enjoy life and do what you can when you can.
And it's interesting too. I think when like myself and you date someone over a year and everyone's like, oh, are you getting married and it's like I don't want to be married again.
No,
so
it's weird. Yeah, I get
but
that.
it's interesting that quickly people are throwing you in that ball game that that's where your goal should be. And I've got friends that have been dating for 5 years and they are blissfully happy in love and they're living together and they're happy, but society and people want to quickly, you either have to have this goal or something's wrong, and that's not the case. It's just what makes each couple happy is what's important, and what makes you happy.
Yeah, or individuals as single people, we're happy. Or if you go out on a date, I've had a friend that did that to me a few times too. We'd go on a date. Oh, you bring so and so. I'm like, why would I bring him? Because she's with somebody. So why would I want to bring? Well, you went out. I went out with him last week. Maybe I don't want to bring him. They want you to start coming as a couple. I don't know if you have that, but I've had that where like, well, he's nice. I'm like, well, I'm just going myself. I don't want to bring him.
I think it's hard.
Did you ever do that?
No. Actually, I have the opposite.
Yeah,
but
no.
that's because when I'm not with, my boyfriend, I'm able to, I'm a social butterfly. And I think when you're with the person you're dating, you're going to be focus your attention on them as well.
But I think you have it nice because you're dating somebody, but he's giving you that freedom to do this. Think about that. Because if you were one of these needy men, you're not doing this.
No, that's true. This cruise would probably be a problem.
Yeah, it would be a total problem because he's not going to want you doing any of this.
Yeah,
He's not on the screen today. No. Yeah, we're
but
individuals. We're individuals, and you have to be happy with yourself, whatever path you go on.
No, you do. And I
Yeah.
think, and a whole another segment would be, the next question, Monica, if she's watching, would tell you, where do you meet these quality men? Because in our area, you're right. If you go to a local restaurant, they're married.
They're either married or super
families, right? Where is the place in Orlando besides being online? And then when you go online, it's a fishbowl. When I tell you, I have 3 friends that are blonde, and we always say, does anyone know this one or have you been out with them? It's very sad to say that some of us have been out with every single one, usually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's literally a fishbowl.
Yeah.
Like, we can tell you everything about them, and someone's gone out with them. And,
Well, there is an app that does that.
yeah, that one I think is, are you dating this guy now? So you could be dating a guy, and you put on there, are we dating the same guy? So
Holy
there's
crap.
literally a Facebook page.
Are we supposed to say that on
I don't.
with Phil?
Y'all giving out free game.
You
That's
know?
crazy. Oh my gosh.
Are we dating the same guy? Watch out, man, if you're watching, because
It's
women
on
are
there.
posting pictures.
Yeah,
and
it's
you
on.
can see if
And-
you're not with the same guy.
And there's women posting pictures of their husbands too.
yeah, yeah.
Have you seen this guy out? Have you seen? So we can tell people, like, you know what? Maybe men will step up and fix their game.
Good. Call it
That'd
out.
be great.
They're getting called out.
Good. Call it out. Julie, what's your website so everybody can head to it?
www.girlfriends Rocking Life, and it tells you all of our events and things going on. The events are actually private only, so you have to go on the Facebook page as a female, sorry, men, you're not allowed in this group. It's all for women.
Womp womp.
And answer the questions. That way we know it's not a robot. And then we give you access to all the events. And they're free type events. It's just, what are we doing? Like we had this event today. We have bingo. We have a cruise. We had a comedy show. Every weekend, these ladies are out doing something. So,
And we're going to keep them posted on the mail auctions.
yes.
And we're going to be doing, I think I mentioned to you, a lot of like these fundraisers also for different causes. And we'll have a lot of fun events to go to. And
So I believe
yeah.
there should be no excuse for any woman in Central Florida to say there's nothing to do or, you know,
Yeah.
I'm alone, because between Ellie and I,
Shit,
we're
I
out
know.
we're popping.
Oh, yeah, we are.
That's awesome. And guys, don't forget, head to our website, storytimewithellie.com. Everything is there, from the episodes to blogs. You can register as a guest on the show as well. Tons of content we release every week or so, right?
Yeah, and if you have a story, bring it on.
Yeah, if you have a story, also, if
You-
you want to sponsor your story, you can
Bring it
send an email to info@storytimewithellie.com. So any final words, Julie, before we head out of here?
Oh, I just thank you, Ellie.
Yeah, I
We
was
had
like, thank you, Julie, for
such
being
a
on
good
air.
time together,
Yeah.
and I can see this is going to be the start of
Yeah, we're going
part
to do a lot
2
more.
and dating in Orlando and Ellie and Julie taking over
Yeah.
by storm. I can see it now.
I can too.
I can too. All right, guys.
Wait, we're going to Europe together.
Right? Oh gosh.
We're going to Italy.
That'll be some. Leave those stories in Europe. What happens
What
in
goes
Europe
on in
stays in Europe.
Vegas. Yeah.
All right, folks. We will catch you later.
Thank you
Bye.
for watching. Thank you.
Bye.